Okay.
All right, so streaming, waiting for it to catch up. Yeah, we're live. Okay. And I'm just waiting for the video feed. Um, okay, that didn't work. All right, that's a wrinkle. So do this instead of that. Okay, yeah, okay. All right. Hi, everybody. Sorry for all the technical difficulties. Wow, 2 weeks in a row, but I think we're getting there. We're trying something a little bit different, so it's a little bit weird. By the way, welcome. Good evening, everybody. It's 9:30 ish on a Monday night on the East Coast, 6:30 on a Monday night on the West Coast. So it's once again time for your weekly Calamity Jane live stream. I'm Eric and James. How's it going tonight?
Going great. I mean, I'm kind of in the thicket with you, trying to figure out how to get technology to work.
Oh, technology. Ah. So the reason being is, as if you saw last week's stream, then you know that this week we're gonna show off a little bit of the sound effects that I've been working on. Nothing too crazy, but just something fun to play around with. But what that means is that instead of James sharing his screen with me and I not having to do any of the work, I'm actually going to be the one sharing the screen while streaming and managing the meeting. It's a lot of technical balls to juggle all at once, and I am only partially succeeding at this. So we're
You're the
we're
man to do it, Eric. I believe in you.
we're figuring this out as we go along. In any case, I think we have it. We're live now, and um, yeah. So I can see that last week's title was preserved. I don't know. It's YouTube is still being weird. In any case, we're here. We're live. I think, and everybody is having a good time. So
Hey, let's recap where we're kind of picking up tonight. If
yeah.
anybody happened to watch last week, we were doing a scene where we have a bunch of the villains, the Warhogs, in kind of a medium shot of them running in the background, and we thought it'd be cool if Eric, as our sound guy these days, would kind of give us like a snapshot of what he's working on his end and how we're going to implement that sound into a shot.
And so here we are. So I've put together and we might as well just jump into it. So I'm going
Mhm.
to do a couple of things here. And this involves me doing this and presenting.
Yeah, hit that red button, then the green button, then the yellow and blue button at the same time.
It
I think
feels it feels that way. Yeah, it absolutely feels that way. So we're gonna share that bad boy. Now, if I've done this right, um,
it
let's
looks
see.
right. I
Let's
can see
see
stuff.
here. Okay, now there should be one more thing I need to do, and then it'll make this all a reality. Nope, almost there. Almost there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see here. Okay, we got infinity, and then we should have. Yeah, we have audition. It worked. Ladies and gentlemen, what you're seeing on your screen right now is my instance of Adobe Audition and the multi-track file that I have set up for the Warhog Stampede.
So
How
now,
about them
naturally,
apples?
from my point of view, I get to be the one that's asking questions, which is fun. I actually like this, actually switching the seats a little bit.
I know. I
But
feel
I
like
mean,
I'm in the hot seat now. All of a sudden.
but I mean, like I can let you kind of get into it, but I do have some questions as we go. So I'll let you kind of go with it first, but then I'll follow up with other questions.
Yeah, yeah. So what you're looking at here, I'll just give a quick intro. Is a multi-track session in Audition. And Audition is Adobe's sound editing software, and this is a really really simple multi-track thing. I'm not doing anything overly complicated for this one. Basically, what I've done is I've sourced four sound effects. The first one is I'm gonna mute. I'm just gonna mute all these one at a time, so you can kind of hear them all in isolation. Um, the first track is just a generic stampede, and like we talked about last week, rather than trying to find some sort of a custom stampede sound effect, what I've got is just a generic. It's a horse stampede, but it works for our purposes.
Yeah. Now, unfortunately, I can't. This is part of the technical difficulties. I can't hear anything that's going on with the sounds. But let's imagine there's a stampede. We will have the sound effect
Yeah,
on our side, right?
yeah, that's
So
correct. Now you do have the final mixdown sound effect, which you can listen to on your own time. This is mostly for the edification of our viewing public. That what I just played was the generic stampede sound effect, and I wanted something a good long loop. So I actually have about 17 seconds for this loop, and so what I actually did is looped through the sound effect twice, and you'll see. And I don't played around with it a lot, but Audition has this really really handy thing where you see those two arcs there as I move. So what it's trying to do is automatically blend between the two sound samples. And so it's mixing the first one down as it mixes the other one up in an attempt to create a seamless transition.
Question for you. So, Eric, I see that it feels like there's two layers within that track one. So does that mean it's in stereo or something?
It's just, it's a stereo sound effect. This one is a stereo sound effect. Yeah, that's all that means. So you're just looking at the left channel and the right channel here. And I'm not doing any master effects. I brought the sound effect in at Unity. What that means is whatever its default volume is, that's what I left it at. I use a stampede because that's the underlying kind of persistent sound for the overall mix that I was going for. And so I basically used that as the neutral volume setting. So all the other volumes, and I got lucky. Again, this is a really simple file, but I used that as a starting point, and then the other sound effects, I tuned their gain to, which I'm clicking on here, to... I want to do that to make sure that it was mixed properly sound-wise. So one of these other sound files didn't overwhelm the stampede, which is really what the drone needs to be. That's what we need to be focusing on. So in any case, so I'll mute the stampede for the time being. So the next sound effect that I got here is just pig squeals, or snorts actually.
Gotcha.
And you'll see that this is broken up, right? It's not a continuous sound file all the way through. Because I'm sampling the same sound effect over and over again, if I did that, and I can give you an example of what I mean. So let's just copy, and I'll do it over here in a safe place where I can delete it. I'm going to paste that a couple of times, right? Come on, there you go. There's 1, 2, and I'll just do it for 3 times so you can see what I mean. Oops. Okay. So if I play now, you'll see what I mean. So if I was trying to do some kind of avant-garde digital music, it would be awesome because that same sound effect playing 3 times in a row, it actually creates almost a rhythm, right? Like a beat that you can follow. But when I'm trying to make a stampede that sounds somewhat organic, it's not good. It sounds really weird. So I let it play once, but then I take bits and pieces of the sound effect and I break it up, and I sort of throw it in at different intervals that I just kind of slid around arbitrarily to break up the sound effect and make it sound less repeated. And go ahead.
The bass sound for that pig squeal is that first clip you have there. Is that the entirety of the clip, and then you've taken it and kind of diced a little bit?
Yeah, exactly. And for the third one, the full clip is this middle one here, and then I broke it up again. And this one again, just to kind of create a mix. Oops, I have it on mute still. Try that again. I wanted to fill in the spaces a little bit differently. So you can see that there's a little bit of overlap, right? But not always, right? And the idea is to create a sense of randomness, a sense of a little bit of chaos, right? Chaos without patterns as much as possible. And then the fourth track in my mix is actual pig squeals. And as you can see, there's a little bit of noise on the sound effect that I probably should go through and clean up. But I got lazy, and the reason being is that when you unmute everything and play it as a total mix,
so I'm going to make the assumption that everybody else can hear that, but just me that's not being able to hear it.
That's correct. Yeah, you're not hearing it. What I just played is the total mix, and it sounds pretty good. Now I
Yeah.
sent you so I'm done with my little presentation. Oh, the last thing I'll say before I'm sorry, I'm a little fractured here, is that the only little bit of tuning that I did was on the squealing. It was actually pretty loud relative to what my baseline track was, and so I actually brought the gain down by 10 decibels to bring it more in line with the other sound effects. But that's all I have to say
Cool.
about that. So in any case, that's the mix. So then I'm going to stop sharing my screen so I stop getting
Ooh,
infinity. Yeah.
infinity.
So once I finished that, then I mixed everything into a mix down and sent it your way. So now you have the final sound effect, and so you can play it and hear it for yourself.
All right. So let's I'll present my screen. We're back to the old seats here. I'll present my entire screen.
Oh, thank God! Oh, that was too much pressure. I'm much happier letting you be the one with all the responsibility.
It's fun, you're kind of living on the edge a little bit,
Oh
right?
my God!
Okay, so I'm going to confirm you can see this picture now,
Yeah,
right?
I can see your picture.
Okay, great. So when we last left off, yep, here was our scene. I'll zoom in a little bit. We were talking about how wouldn't it be nice when Eric puts a sound effect in, and we're going to try putting that in now. I'm going to make a new audio layer. I'll call it SFX and Flash here, and we're going to import an MP3. Here's the audio. Let's try this out. Oh, and it could not import the MP3. We may need it as a wave.
Okay, well, while you do your thing, give me 2 seconds. I can
Sure.
re-export it as a wave. That's
Yeah.
easy enough.
I could also try to. I could try to open it up here too. Well, I'll let you kind of do it on your side. Let me see if I can kind of.
I'm already almost there. I just have to
Okay.
press the export button. Export session. Oh no, that's not what I wanted to export a mix down.
And I will bring up my
session, and I want to save it as a wave file. Great. Okay. All right, this will be a lot larger. I'm sending it your way right now.
Okay.
Everybody, this is what you're seeing is actually how we work. Like this is
through email and through. Oh, this didn't work. We'll try this.
yeah. This is as that went from 4 kilobytes to 6.5 megs. That's awesome. Waves, uncompressed audio. Okay, I just sent it your way.
So what's funny is Flash. I mean, I've been able, I've imported MP3 before in a Flash and it's worked. And other times it's just sometimes it gets, and I'm calling it Flash, meaning Adobe Animate. And sometimes it's fickle and it won't let you do it.
Uh-huh.
The wave file seems to be pretty reliable, so that's why we're kind of going that route. Go ahead, Eric. Oh, sorry, I was talking over you for a second there.
Oh no. I was just saying that like this is as raw an example of us like collaborating as you get. Oh, that didn't work. Hold on, let me send another email. It was nothing major.
All right, let me present again. I've just checked my email. I will do my entire screen again. Sure. Make sure you can see me.
I can see me. Okay, there we go.
Okay, well, that means
yeah, it's working. We're cooking with gas. All right, give that mix down and see if that'll work. There we go.
It's in there. All right. So what I'm going to do for the intents of this audio clip, I'm going to go a little longer. So this might take a little longer to look at, but let me push it out a little ways. You gave me plenty of.
Yeah, I gave you 16 seconds to play with. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great.
Well, 17 seconds. I wanted to make sure that you had more than you knew what to do with.
Good. That always more is great. Then we can always trim later.
Right.
So okay. So I am going to. I wonder if I should lower my volume down a little bit, just a bit. All right, and let's hear the sound. Yeah, I think that works. I think obviously we need to speed the picture up a little bit.
Yeah,
But
yeah. The stampede is a lot faster, but this is really useful. So I was sort of putting together this sound effect in a vacuum, not respective of the rate that your warhogs are animating, right? And so immediately you see how quickly things can get desynced.
let's try this out. I trimmed down this. I trimmed down from 16 seconds to 5 seconds. Let's look at it now. That feels a little better already, but it could probably be a little bit faster. So let's go down to, I don't know. Let's go down to about 3. I know it's kind of really overkilling, but let's just try that out. Yep, that
Oh
feels pretty good.
yeah, oh yeah, that feels really good.
And for all intents and purposes for the shot, this is how this even 3 seconds might be too long for the actual animation when it's done. But
Yeah, and for the audience watching, keep in mind that this track will be used for more than just this one shot. There's a lot of shots of the stampede. Not all of them even focused on the warhogs themselves. A lot of it is focused on Calamity's action, but because this is sort of like the underpinning drone, you're going to hear the stampede a lot. And in fact, I might need to do, and a lot of it depends on how the production works out, but I might need to do other alternate stampede mixes um, to create some variety, so we're not hearing the same 16-second loop over and over again. Even by only taking 3 seconds of that loop, you will notice patterns very quickly. Human beings' brains are remarkably good at identifying patterns. And so yeah, so but this is sort of a fun first step in bringing this scene alive.
and so the next thing so for fun, for a bonus, I'm trying to get this done within our half-hour uh, time frame. But I wanted to put in a panning background. I know you kind of mentioned it last week. Like we were talking about, wouldn't it be nice to have the mountains kind of go slower, etc. In the landscape. So I am going to attempt to do that as well while we're here with the sound and with everything else going on. So what I've done is I have we already had the background here already moving, and I've muted your sound. I hit the X button, which is a nice luxury now. I mean, a couple versions ago, Adobe Animate allowed you to just hit the X button and you can actually mute your sound instead of actually, even though it's here, you can see it visually. There was a time where it didn't matter, and you still, whenever you're scrubbing, you still hear it.
There you
So that's,
go.
anyway, that's a nice little extra thing there that they've done.
That's
I can't remember
nice.
which version it was, but whatever. Let's see. So I am now used the background here, and it's now BG Test Pan. Duplicated it and made a new layer down here, and I've renamed the symbol from BG Test Pan to BG Mountain. So then my intent is I will go in here and I will import the mountains by themselves. And I've already made them here to be more efficient. So also kind of play with the color of the mountains a little bit.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
I'm playing around with it a little bit. I kind of wanted to have the mountains kind of faded
Mm-hmm.
more than a darker color because I want the Warhogs to be the darkest thing you see on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I've done that as well. So there's a mountain range here. Let's duplicate that, bring it over here, and I will, again, like we did last week, we will flip it. Flip. And I'll kind of play with the squashiness of it. And maybe one more over here. I'll do that. And these will be gone. So now we have our mountain range roughly within that three field pan.
Mm-hmm.
So that's there. Now, as far as the background, we have this background plate that I mentioned before, which was pretty much this. Well, I'm going to now swap it out with, well, actually, I've got to import it first, but let me do that first. I'm going to go with beachy sand now. It's thinking about it and it's there. And I'm going to kind of This is going to be kind of loosey goosey. Kind of doing this on the fly. There we go. And I will now use that 3 times across. And I'm roughly doing it, but close enough. Okay, now there's our sand. So now we just have our sand. Now I've essentially separated the mountains from the sand. So now we have our sand layer, we have our mountain layer, and I will put in our sky. I will definitely make sure to save.
I don't see any asterisks, so I think you're in good shape. You make the mistake. It reminds you for a little bit at least, like, and then you forget again, and then you're like, oh, damn it. But at least for a while, yeah.
Sometimes, yeah. So let's see here. I'm going to put the sky in now, and the sky isn't going to move, so I'm not really too concerned about that.
Yeah.
But we'll put that there, and lastly, we'll add in a cloud.
A happy little cloud.
And happy little cloud. And I'll kind of shrink this down a little bit. And I'll make sure this is a symbol as well. Let's call it DG cloud. Okay, so with all that being said, we now have a new background in here that's going to be able to be panning. Here's the mountains, and I'm going to, let's see, so everything's moving evenly right now. I will take the mountain and kind of push it back a little bit more to favor a longer stretch. And this cloud, we're going to barely move it. Maybe, I don't know. Let's see, just a bit. Roughly there. And we will tween this. All right, let's see how this looks. Hopefully I have my bearings right and it'll look okay, but let's see. Your sound's on. We have mountains in. It's going too fast still. Well, the cloud's working.
The cloud is working, yeah. The slowing down the mountains a little bit, and I think you're there.
Yeah. Well, I favored the background too much with that, so let's kind of go back a bit. Let's try that out.
That was just very confusing to my brain.
Let me fix that now. Okay, so that's going that way, and we want the mountains too. Let's try that. There we go.
A little bit more. That. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Wow, look at that. That's a scene from our cartoon, complete with sound effects.
Yes, isn't that cool?
That is amazing.
Teamwork, Eric.
Teamwork makes the dream work. That's what I've heard.
What's great is you fixed my dyslexic brain and making the mountains kind of go one way or another. Like, it all worked. Everything worked out to the perfect way.
Oh my gosh. Oh, look at that. That is amazing. It feels like a cartoon right now.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, we have one of our shots pretty much there.
Yeah.
It sounds good. Yeah, I'm psyched.
So there you go. I think that was a success. I'm pretty happy with it, and be more of those types of sound effects where that came from. Audition is a really user-friendly app.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, the fact that you can kind of break out the channels, copy paste stuff back and forth.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's all super WYSIWYG. It really, really, really user friendly. If you sort of understand Premiere, Audition works in a very, very similar way in terms of its multi tracks and the way you do ripple edits, and you've got the Razor tool and that kind of stuff. So it's really easy to hop into.
Well, cool. I think we're at a pretty good spot here. I think for this week. This is everything kind of worked together despite us fighting with technology again.
Yeah,
Pretty.
the one thing I'm going to ask you is if you could export this. I know it's a super short clip, but I'd love to post this to the Patreon site so our Patreon patrons can get a little bit of a, because this is all sampled down because we're looking at it over a live stream, and I'd love for them to get a chance to see the uncompressed, or rather like smushed version, so they can hear all the audio clearly and they can see all the animation clearly.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. We'll do this after we wrap up tonight.
Yeah, and we'll make sure to get that posted on Thursday so everybody can take a look at it, because Thursday is when we usually do our Patreon updates. So
Cool.
yeah. All right. Well, that is our time. Thanks everybody for tuning in. As usual, the top of the show is a little bit confusing. Well, not as usual, but I think next week we're gonna have it. I got a good feelings we're gonna get it sorted next week. I'm confident. I'm confident.
Yeah, that'll explore with using other tech like Zoom
or something.
Whatever. We'll figure it out. We always kind of get there in the end somehow, some way.
Somehow we get there. And in the meantime, as always, you can check out our Patreon site. Just look for Calamity Jane, or just go to calamityjane.rocks and it'll take you right there. Check out our Facebook site. Just search for Calamity Jane as usual. And as always, in all of the social medias, like and subscribe. I think we're supposed to say that, right? And that's the rules.
Yeah, it's officially the verbiage that everybody else uses, but whatever. Yeah,
well, yeah. So in any case, as always, another successful stream. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll see you next week. Night, everybody.
Have a good week, everybody. See ya.